welcome to the Distaff podcast. Before we start, though, I want to show what you're wearing.
Me?
Because your sweater.
Oh, do you want to see my knitting? Then you
She
have to
made
show your dreadnought thing or whatever.
No,
This
this
is
is
my
what
vest.
Kim made.
And it has little ribbons.
It's so cute.
There you go. It has like a little cool, anyway,
It's so thick. What kind of stitch is it?
it's a doubled over stitch thing.
What's it called? Oh, it's so cool.
No, it looks like tulips or something.
It's so pretty. Yay!
I made it when I was procrastinating my thesis. I made lots of projects. I even got into like miniature pottery making with my little wheel. So my procrastinations bear fruit.
Comes out in a creativity. Yes.
Kind of sad.
No, it's awesome. This podcast is one of the fruits.
That's true.
Oh, it's good.
True.
Oh, good. Well, I love it. Okay, you're kind of running the show on this one.
So I'm just going to do a quick recap of where we are even in Gudrid's story in the season, because we started out, I think, 5-6 episodes ago with Gudrid, the well-traveled story. She lived around 1000 AD, and she is considered, if you go on TikTok or Instagram, you can find all these little shorts about this amazing woman traveling. And but anyway, we really have enjoyed talking about her. So we haven't gotten her very far in 6 episodes because there's so much foundation we needed to lay about her life as a Christian and a pagan woman, and someone who actually gave birth in North America in 1003 and lived to tell the tale. So she's a pretty cool lady, but we haven't gotten her very far yet. We got her from being born in Iceland, and now she had gotten on a ship with her father and 30 other of their closest friends, and they sailed in a open Canar Viking ship to Greenland, and it took them several months, and they shipwrecked. And last episode, we discussed them spending the winter at a longhouse at a farm where we got to see a remarkable pagan ritual occur, and in which she was very helpful with. And part of the prophecy that the seer woman foresaw for Gudrid was it seemed like a pretty happy life, a happy prophecy. She was going to she was going to get married. She wasn't going to be stuck in Greenland forever, so she was going to travel. So as we continue in the sagas now in the story of Gudrid, we find that, yes, that prophecy seems to be coming true. But as we've discussed, sometimes your Hamanjah gets in the way or leaves, or, the waves can get a little rocky. And we see that with Gudrid. And I want to point out that at this point in time, she is probably, they're thinking 18 years old, 18 or 19. She's young, 1000 AD. A woman who's been raised with pagan and Christian belief systems, early belief systems. And she's already been told that she's a reckoning woman. It's been prophesied that she can summon the spirits. So she's quite remarkable, even at her young age, as the seer said in her season.
And in both worlds, I feel like she's respected in both equally, Iceland and Greenland, and pagan and Christian, and in two pretty, I think, you have your Erickson family, who's a big, important family in Greenland, and then I feel like she's respected by everybody, even the people that don't necessarily like the Ericsons, maybe? I don't know.
Yes, and for sagas, they don't mind telling the good and bad about, these characters. The descendants seem to be okay with telling you, Eric killed a bunch
Right.
of people or he got
Right,
drunk
right.
or he
Yeah.
he
Yeah, his
slept with
wife
a
wouldn't sleep with
troll.
him. Yeah.
His wife wouldn't sleep with them, so, they don't hold back, and so the fact that we don't see any character flaws really in Gudrid, she's kinda stays pretty strong through all this is kinda interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so today, what we're doing then is we have Gudrid. They've survived this winter. It looks like in Greenland, they do deal with famine, they deal with climate problems, they deal with, with the land itself changing. It's starting to become into a colder period, and so the archaeological record starts to see them going from eating livestock animals to
Mhm.
more
Hunting.
marine life,
Yeah.
ptarmigans, things that people would normally not like to eat, and then
Mhm.
some of them are actually starving. So, the prophecy that this seer gave in our last episode of a good spring and good times kinda makes you feel like, "Oh, Gudrid's headed in the right direction?" So, anyway, today we have Gudrid and her father. Um, the spring comes, and they finally get up to Eric the Red's property, which is called
I love how you say it. Bratlid? Bratlid?
Bratlid, something like that.
Bratlid?
That's
'Cause it's
his
not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his property. We are going to meet Eric and finally meet his wife, who is a character in herself. And there are 3 sons living with them. Is that or 4? 3.
3 for sure, Eric, Leif, and Thorvald, and then
Mhm.
possibly a half sis daughter, Freydis. I do feel like there's another
And
one.
Thorstein.
Thorns oh, did I not say? Did I say
No.
Eric, Leif, and Thorvald? So Leif,
Yeah.
Thorvald, and Thornstein.
So there's 4
Eric is the dad.
sons, right? 4 sons?
I don't think there's a son named Eric. I think I've said Eric. So Eric's the
Oh,
dad.
yeah, 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 never mind. Yeah, Eric's the dad.
Leif is the oldest, then Thorvald, then Thornstein, and then half children or maybe real daughter, Freydis. And I do feel like there's another half someone in there.
And there could be because as we're gonna talk about, there's polygamy, there's,
Yeah,
concubinage,
concubine.
there's
Right.
lots of even Leaf has some random children, so it
Yeah.
can get a little bit messy, but, we
Right.
will have them arrive at Eric the Red's property finally, good, welcoming, Gudrid's father gets land, and then we see this pretty and then winter comes, and we see this beautiful love story blossom, and Gudrid gets married. And, that will last about a year, and then, um, Gudrid will lose that husband. So,
Yeah.
by the time we're done with the story, Gudrid is not even 20, and she's lost 1 husband, possibly 2. So, she's been widowed twice.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're at today, and that will instigate her next group of travels, the
Yeah.
big ones.
Yeah. The big ones. That's
Okay.
perfect. Good setup. All right.
Okay.
I love it.
All right.
So, I guess, do you want me to just briefly explain that we are dealing again with 2 sagas?
Please.
And, so there'll be, I don't know, I guess if you haven't read both sagas or if you have read both sagas, what we're kind of are finding that even though there are 2 sagas within a saga, especially the saga of the Greenlanders, I think, we are finding maybe they jumped around. Oh, no, in the Vinland sagas. Maybe they jumped around a little bit timeline-wise, but
Mhm.
just a caveat that we are talking about 2 different sagas who are basically telling the same story, but can be, in some cases, pretty significantly different in sea voyages and locations of events and stuff like that, right?
Right, right. And so
So
that's kind of the something for our listeners to keep in mind that we are navigating, um, I guess, no original sources unless you want to talk about the archaeological records, but we're navigating these,
yeah,
you know,
translations of
translations,
sagas. Yeah.
translations, and also oral narrative tradition,
Mhm.
which every generation that retells the story is going to add something a little different. And of course, we add in the Christian the translators in the 11th and 12th centuries
Right.
who
Any
are
bias.
really theirs are what we were relying on, and sometimes they'll pepper in some Jesus stuff. So
As they will do. Yes.
as they are
Um,
wont to
as
do.
they are wanting. But which is fine, that's lovely. And then also we have the Hemingskrilaw,
Okay.
which is another, it's not a saga per se, but it does talk a lot about Leif Erikson's time over in Norway, and then it kinda does talk about the Vinland stuff a little bit too, so then you have that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just a lot of sources, and what's cool is when you have one saga tell a story, well, okay, maybe, okay, that's cool, glean what you can from that saga and use it the way you will use it. You have 2 sagas and now potentially 3 talking about a story,
Yeah.
even if it's messy and kinda you can put it together enough to trust that this is real, like, this is more historical than other sagas, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah. And so in order to make it a little bit easier to talk about, you and I, we usually try to distill it down to the little pieces of truth that seem to go through all of them, and then maybe the scholarly works that others in the archaeological, so you kind of can triangulate your story so we can
Mhm.
feel comfortable talking about it. The way I look at it, they head up to Leif Erikson's to Eric the Red's estate. She marries Thorstein, and then there is a dearth or a sickness that strikes the household that winter, and
Yeah, do you
she
wanna
will
talk
lose.
about the wedding?
Yes.
'Cause
So
it's so
let's
cute.
start with let's get Gudrid
Married.
married. Um,
I'm gonna show one, keep talking.
please do. Please do.
This is not to get I don't know if this is a way we wanna to bring it, but
We don't have any rules.
historically, I'll get it as a historical image, not a woo-woo thing. Keeps popping in my head.
Good. Then pull it out.
Okay. But keep talking while I'm looking for it. Oh, well, this is
Oh,
kinda it.
okay.
It popped right up at the top, so
Okay,
there you
that and
go.
it wants to
Oh,
speak.
alright. It is the 4 of Wands.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And
So
that's the
Sarah's
image.
showing us a tarot card
It's a
deck.
tarot card,
Is
and
it
I
the classic
apologize to
one?
anybody that is freaked out
We
by
don't
tarot.
apologize for
Okay,
any spiritual aids are fine.
okay. But this is a happy, even the artwork, I just whatever. It's your yellow happy, it's your 4 of Wands. It's a
Oh,
marriage, it's a
yeah.
celebration, it's just the happy thing. You got people here celebrating with them. It's just a celebration of a life moment, right?
Right,
And,
right.
whatever that brings, whatever that leads to, however you got there, um, it's part you know, you're seeing them kinda set off, it's like there's still a journey ahead. It's
Hmm.
just the card that pops into my mind a lot with this part of her
And
story. We
can
might
it
have to
be
edit that
seen
out, but
as can I like it because well, tell us I
not
like
to okay.
it because I like the learning about the tarot card whole the runes and tarot cards,
The
any kind
runes
of
are
divining things, because those cards are not, they can be good or bad, like you said. And
Yeah,
Gudrid's life is full of good and bad.
yeah. And the cards are cool in talking about this time in this area. The art of these cards, when we're talking about this time, we're not
Mhm.
talking about that far. The artwork done, the things that were important to the people who made the art on these, they're historical. They were playing cards and they were, I forgot we're getting, sorry, but they
What
were,
culture, used these cards?
well, the art and the original game, I think, was from Italy,
Are
so we're
so
talking
Romany or gypsies, or I
whoever,
shouldn't say gypsies, we don't know. We don't know yet. We haven't gone there yet.
yeah, we haven't gotten there.
We'll cut that out.
And there you well, that's it's fun. We'll keep it because that's interesting. But, a lot of the, if you wanna weave in all this stuff, because someday we will talk about runes and divination, and
Yeah.
we just talked about sorcery, and we're gonna talk about a different kind of inspiration that comes in from the Christians. Like, if you're talking about unknown things in this world and this universe, and how do you bring them down to you to help you,
Mhm.
this this artwork, these tarot cards or runes or, uh, casting, but all these things are just like anything else. It's like the invention of film. When film was invented, what are you gonna do with film? Are you gonna make beautiful movies, or are you gonna do horrible images and
Yeah. Yeah.
go down, like, it's just like the same thing. But I'm getting off topic. It's a card that keeps popping into my mind for her and this wedding feast that they're having, and they've just had a famine, and the
Mhm.
people hosting this feast were probably, it was a big deal, but
Mhm.
they still wanna have a really good feast, and I feel like she's very, very happy right now. Like, this is a happy moment
Yes.
in her life. That's what I'm saying. I
And
feel
I
like she's very
feel like,
happy.
don't you think that she seems to be, as we'll see in future things, she kinda sustains that, this inner happiness kinda. Like,
Yes.
and maybe it's the humming jaw, maybe it's their outlook on the world, that good things are gonna happen, bad things are gonna happen. Um, but
I
yeah,
think
I
you're
like
right.
to
Yeah.
see her. I think that's why this idea of her wedding, makes me happy to think about, because
Yeah.
we know it's not gonna last long, and that the prophetess lady told her that, but, I don't know. It just
Yeah, I think it was happy for her. I think it was a moment in this area for all these people of a celebration and happiness. And you're right, I do feel like Gudrid's background color on all her phases of life is a happy yellow, or
I
happy
know,
golden
yeah,
sun, you know?
and whichever husband she's in the picture with, she's cool with,
Yeah, and her
you know?
dad. And like you were saying a minute ago, when you go online and you're looking at all these different images of Gudrid the world travel, like you were
Yeah.
saying, some she's like this, but like, which maybe she was, but like this, like almost manly,
Yeah,
I
she
don't know.
had to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just angry or out there conquering and slaying, but maybe she was just a happy traveler, a happy, I don't know. I just picture
I
her
I
happy.
I think, yeah, that's she's fun to think about that way. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so
So,
anyway, the feast. Okay.
so I might just read, this is just the Eric the Red, it doesn't have the other stuff, and the only thing I'm bothered about is the idea that, Eric the Red, in one of these sagas, we do get a glimpse inside his longhouse in the winter. He's entertaining people,
Oh, yeah.
and he's a little sad that he can't, he's like,
Mhm.
"I'm so sorry I cannot, um, entertain you in the way I would have liked," which kinda speaks to these hard times they're having a little bit. He's embarrassed because he can't tr treat his guests in this, custom he would like to, and his
Yeah.
guest said something nice like, "Don't worry, we brought things in our ship," or something, So we understand that that the tales and the idea of famines and struggles are real at this point in time.
Yeah, very
But
much.
the sagas are going to give way to, let's see. So we have what you left us with, um, is the seer at the first longhouse. Um, Spring comes, and we know that Gudrid's dad did not attend because he did not approve of
Of the
the
sorceress,
pagan.
yeah, the
Uh-huh.
little Sybil. Yeah,
So,
which is
Eric
so
the
funny.
Red saga continues. Yeah. The weather soon improved, which actually, I'm sorry, but what that tells me about Gudrid is something interesting. Because if my dad's like, "If you do
Oh,
this, I can't even abide this. I cannot be in here." I'd be a li if I'd be a little bit like, "That's probably not good to juju," but I think that's kinda like a modern, like, father, patriarchal Christian idea. I don't know, but the fact that
I'll
Gudrid
tell
does
you
it.
should I tell you a personal experience? I think we'll edit
Please,
this out. I know we'll
please.
edit this out, but I'm just gonna tell you. But I'll
'Kay.
tell it in a way maybe we don't. Recently, as in, like, yesterday. Um, oh, how do I tell this? I'll tell it, um
Just tell it and we'll edit it if we have
okay,
to.
I had a Gudrid moment in the same kinda
Really?
thing of, like, the old world, the new world, because someone I love was asked to do something. I will just edit it. So, Brandon's dad is getting surgery, he's, like, in surgery right now, and
Really?
was pretty sure he was going to it might be he's older, and it could be a rough surgery, so he was worried.
Mm.
So, he had, everybody get together yesterday, and he had asked Brandon to give him a blessing.
Oh, interesting. So this
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
And he
Brandon was like, "Yes, of course I'll do it," because he's honoring his dad. Like, he didn't
Right.
think of any of the other, either way side of it. He's just like, "Yep, my dad asked me to do this. I love my dad."
For sure.
He went out and he bought a white shirt. He got ironed it, got it all ready, like,
Oh, that
try
is a
try
Gudrid moment.
yeah, so but
That's love.
I was having a hard time with it because I'm like I put my hat back on of how I felt when I was really in
The
and I would
scrupulosity.
not be pleased with someone who I didn't think was the
Interesting.
W word, doing something like that.
Interesting.
So I was like, "I don't think you should do it. I don't think it's we aren't doing this. You're not worthy." And I would if I was like, "How do your sisters feel? And is this" and, I had a hard time with it, and it was a Gudrun
Oh,
moment of like, well, what's the better thing? Is it
oh,
trying
interesting.
to honor this religion, or are we honoring the dad? Or am I and for me, I have to just respect Brandon and whatever his wishes. So anyway, he did it, and it was lovely, and I had to like, just chill and be there for
Wow,
it.
Sarah,
Not weird?
that's fascinating. That self-awareness moment for you, because
And it
all
was
those
like, "Oh my gosh, this is
conflicting.
Gudrid." Like, she must have probably maybe had a pit in her stomach to do this old thing that she doesn't agree with anymore. Or flip it, like, now she's Christian and I can't do that, or whatever. It was like a crossing the line, straddling these 2 trying to have respect for both worlds. And
Wow, but that makes it really personal. Like, that
mhm,
brings that story, um, because obviously Brendan knows how.
yeah.
Obviously, he's a child of God,
Yeah,
obviously.
he remembered the words and
Yeah,
stuff like that and how to do it. He did a fine job,
yeah.
and he didn't ever felt now if the surgery doesn't go well, I'm like, "Are you gonna have that?"
I mean, the did asked for it,
Yeah, okay.
but,
His dad asked for it, yeah, and, out of I think just pure he gave a nice kinda comments before it, kind of explaining his where he is and his thoughts, his what's important to him, and it's his children and grandchildren. It was very beautiful, and it was, I think if he hadn't have had that, if I think with his dad having that moment of explaining kinda where he was, I think that's what put me at ease of like, "Okay, this is just bigger things. This is
Yeah,
bigger, 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 bigger than rules, expectations." It's kinda that God will figure it out moment, you know? And, it was but it was cool. I'm like, "Okay, I have to be like Gudrid and just be, uh love both sides right now and or, love both and just hope we aren't
totally.
offending anyone." Or,
Well, you had to fight your old demons a little bit
a little
of
bit, yeah, and I mhm,
that black and white thinking or that
mhm,
like, sort of what Gudrid struggled with. She's
mhm, I
like,
had
"Am
to
I" Yeah.
yeah, and not be and think, "Wow, maybe I was a really judgmental member of that church," like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. So it was interesting.
Well, it's sort of asking what we're talking about Gudrid is asked to do and all the people at that time period. Almost, I guess, realize what you're gonna keep and what you're gonna take and
Yeah,
what's meant to be honored and what's meant to be, like I mean,
yeah,
they had to do it with the sacrifices and the rituals little by
yeah,
little. Was this
and
really important or what's important about it or
yeah, and if you're no longer honoring like, for me, it was, "Okay, I no longer really honor this." I respect I respect, like we said, the powers, this wherever power is coming from and whatever tool
Mhm,
you're using to bring
mhm.
I respect all of that. But and
Yeah,
I really wanna respect it where I'm not so, just because I'm not honoring a certain way, um, doesn't mean I have any right to dishonor it at all either, right?
right,
I don't know.
right. I
Yeah,
guess it's a question of maybe a more hierarchical question of who has the right to own these rituals, who has the right or the access or
yeah. Because I even said, I said, "Well, if he had asked me to do it, uh, is it the same thing now?" Or, but that's one of those God figures it out kinda things, I think, moments. I don't know, but it was interesting.
it is
Maybe we do leave
interesting.
this in. Do you think we dare leave this in?
We'll see how it goes, but I do think that's a really cool thing that shows again what we're always talking about, that none of these problems have been solved.
Our earring
Just
just
'cause
dropped
we're
off.
just because we're living in 2026
Oh,
doesn't
right.
mean we know
Right.
what we're doing, right?
Right.
And we're totally living in a time of same as her, where everything was changing, the
Mhm.
all the things we thought were stable institutions are not we have to rethink. We have to
Right.
rethink, like, I don't know,
Everything.
your everything, what it is, what an American is, what a what is
Yeah.
moral, what is not moral, what is can you really support this institution if it's not jiving with your inner
Right.
compass?
Right. Yeah.
So,
And
I
y
it wow, yeah.
yeah.
It
So
makes
anyway,
that
but
seer woman's words even more wise when she said, the spirit still came to you regardless of what season you're in," or you know what I mean? At
yeah.
least that's how I read it.
Yeah, because I feel like the feeling of, once I just stopped, like you're saying, took it out of a black and white and just put it in the love, like, this is a loving, really loving moment for the family and this father and his son. It was really beautiful. Their embrace at the end
Yeah.
was, like, even more because I think they both understood what they just
Yeah.
done for each other. It was really cool. I just
Yeah.
also love my people that are very black still in not black and white, but still, like, I don't know. I still
But
love
the
my people
question
that
is,
are
would
that
you
maybe would have been.
deny I mean, would anyone deny their father comfort,
No, exactly.
you
And
know?
it was yeah, and it was
And
Gudrid, she wasn't gonna deny those people the comfort too, like, it was really interesting, I'm like, "Okay,
that is
yeah, that's what it
so
come down
interesting.
that's what it came down to, exactly, Kim." Yeah.
Wow. You
Yeah.
had quite a moment. Huh.
Mhm.
Which tells me, the way people maybe practice the same religions, they may think on paper they're all believing the same thing, but one man's, kind and gentle is another man's, rigidity that's hurting you,
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow, that's really a beautiful story.
It was interesting, it was very and I it was interesting. It was interesting. It
In
was
another context, what would be interesting, like what you just said, then what's to keep me from wanting to bless my grandchild if I feel it at that moment, you know?
I don't know, because you go there and then what do you do? I mean, you
You
go
know?
there and then you're going back.
Well, I
You're
would.
going back to all eternity of, like, what knowledge and what who gets to have say on blessings or magic or saving miracles? Like, who is it what you do, or is it what your intention is? Is it what you were taught? Is it what you did before? Like, in
Hmm.
every religion, there's preparation for certain things, and did you do the right
Sacrifices that have
preparation? Right, and then or does it just come down to, "Oh, this person needs this, and I have the ability to do this, and do it," "shut up about it," or or whatever, I don't know. Not judge it.
we can all be instruments, you know? Yeah. That
Yeah,
is
so
really, really interesting. So walking
mhm.
away from that, what do you think?
I have a lot more respect for, like, what we're talking today because she's not done straddling both of these worlds, and
Mm-mm.
she there was one part I was even thinking of with, um I can't remember. I think her calmness, somehow she tapped into something when they say she's like a reckoning woman or whatever they however they something she's tapped into to be able to I didn't straddle that. I was a wreck for all weekend thinking about going back and forth. Like, I was not
Oh,
a
really?
reckoning, peaceful woman. I was, and so for her, this is her whole world that
Yeah.
she's straddling, and the hands-on moment of, "Oh my gosh," was really was wild.
Yes, that's where the rubber meets the road. Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to but then you
Yeah,
think about the things this we're lucky enough to have this experience with her, but
right.
you think about how scary she's just survived a shipwreck where her foster mother and father died, where she's left
Yeah,
everything behind. All she's got is her dad, really,
and
and, if you really are gonna hold on to this new Christianity, which they're like, "This is the truth," and "Don't do the pagan, it's of the devil." Like, the concept of a devil hasn't been introduced into Gudrid's life.
yes, that's
The
true.
concept of hell has just been introduced,
Right.
where it wasn't really before, to a certain extent. Um, the concept of the Christian God can, whip up storms and do bad things and da da
Destroy
da da da,
nations.
and you
Mhm.
don't have much control over it. For her to how scary to
Yeah,
be like, "Okay, well, I guess I will do this pagan thing even though I am a Christian woman." Like, she was in a really precarious situation.
and to have your dad walk off
And
and
to
not
have
wanna be
your
a part of
dad
it,
walk
and then
off,
not only are you staying there witnessing it, but now you're participating in it,
and you're
and
told
I
you're good at it.
yes, and given a little bonus blessing by the sorceress, and then did she tell her dad that? Did she share that with him, or what was his did he obviously didn't have the same ability she had to straddle these both worlds with class or, or with
Right,
love,
right, right.
and, or maybe he did, and maybe he's because maybe he did, because at one time, I'm like, "Maybe it's better if I'm not there bringing, like, this stressed energy to it," you know? So maybe I don't know,
Well, okay, let's think of it like he was
because he
helping
loved
her. Like, she wouldn't be able to do it if he was there giving off that energy like, "Oh, please don't do that." Like,
maybe
that's
not.
true. Like, if you were in that room, that would have been hard for
I didn't wanna
Brandon.
give negative energy, so I had to rectify it before, but, um, he also he's best friends with Eric the Red, who is a full throttle
I
Norse
know,
pagan, and
I
he loved
know.
him enough to follow him and to so he
Yeah.
probably
He's
is
kind of a
maybe
he's a torn character too, because as we
yeah,
talked, he was a slave and he but we know that he wants to reach upper echelons of respect in the Norse communities, so he is friends with Eric the Red,
yeah.
and Eric the Red's now we're gonna discuss has his own issues at home
Let's
with
do that,
this
let's go
idea.
are do you want
Yeah,
to?
sure.
Okay. Sorry, I
Um,
took us on a but I guess we have
oh,
to leave it in
I
because it's a
think that is very important because, it's important because history doesn't come to us for no reason. Like, if you're not paying attention to this her story is the same as our story,
yeah.
you know?
And
I don't get it.
family is family and love is love, and not all family will believe the same things, and how do you behave in those moments, and what comes out in the end, what's most important, and hopefully you do the right thing, not always, sometimes you won't, sometimes you do storm off into the night, but, yeah, the that I don't know, it was like, I was really grateful to have any kind of reference of somebody like, it was
Yeah.
interesting. It was really cool,
It is
and
so interesting how she kinda came what's the one where the female ancestor that follows you in your
the
life? The
Flyga,
Flygash? That's like a
Flyga.
Flyja moment
Uh-huh. Oh,
because there
interesting.
you are in
Oh,
her same position.
yeah, and it was just like, just chill out and love, and it ended up being one I love all those people in that room, I love that whole family, they're my family too, and it was and then, it was great, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. So, we'll see.
Wow, yeah, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, alright, good. So, that takes us right to Eric.
Yeah,
Um,
I love Eric
I do
too.
too, he reminds me of one of
Aaron.
our brother-in-laws
Yes,
who we
okay, yeah,
love.
cut that out.
Um, okay, so finally everything comes, the spring comes, Thorbjorn's excited because Thorbjorn's there's no Christians on Greenland. I mean, we know
Just
at
Thorhild,
just
just Eric
just
the Red's
Eric's
wife,
wife.
and Leaf, I guess, when he comes back.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll just so it says Thorborn made ready a ship, and they all went on until he came to Brada Lead or whatever, the steep slope it's known as.
I know, I love that.
And I'm just reading this out of the Eric the Red, a translation done in 1800, so give that what you will. But Eric received him with utmost cordiality, saying he'd done well to come there. Thorbjorn and his family were with him during the winter. So again, the winter is where decisions are made and things happen. It seems like the rest of the year it's all action.
Yeah,
Um, and the following spring, Eric gave Thorborn land at Stockness. A handsome farm buildings were built for him, and he dwelt there afterwards. And so we kind of get introduced to Eric's family now that they're on Greenland. And Eric had a wife who was named Toadhild. Is that the right?
I've been calling her Thorhild, but I think you're right, Toadhild.
I
Yeah.
don't know. And I'm so sorry. We need to learn over the summer, we're
I know,
gonna
there
learn Old
before
Norse.
these Flyjas come back with, like, a different lesson to teach.
I know.
Take some
I
time to
know.
learn your pronunciation, girls. Okay.
Yes. So the
You know
sun.
it, you know what you're saying. You
No,
already
I
know her.
don't. Yeah, I make it totally I can read it, but I've read it for 15 years wrong in my head. So there
Well, okay, so just so can everybody know you've been studying this? Like, you do
oh,
know it? You've been studying this for
yeah.
years and years and
I'm a yes.
say what you are.
I'm just a nerd for for history. But
You
I
have
have been studying
and
Danish,
have some papers to prove it in a book.
some
Yeah.
credentials and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
So we will trust your pronunciation on that,
oh,
please.
please do not. But I'll tell you, if I do it right, I'll tell you, "Oh, I'm pronouncing this perfect."
Oh, okay. I love
Okay.
that. Okay, go
Anyway,
ahead.
so they had a son named Thorstein and the other Leif. They leave out Torvald in this one, but we know he's there. Um, Thorstein was home at his father, and there was at the time no man in Greenland who was thought highly as he. The other brother, Leif, at this time had sailed to Norway and was there with King Olaf Tryggvason. Okay, so let's talk about Eric the Red's wife for minutes.
I love her very
Why
much.
do we love her so much?
Well, we had talked about her in a couple episodes. She's the one that has some cool lineage. She has the
Yeah.
Russian, she's got the Irish royalty in her lineage. She's the one that came over,
Mm-hmm.
had a stepfather, half we're descendants from her half sister. So she's her parents were really like not that that makes her important because we're related, but just a little personal touch with when I think about her that she's coming from these really cool places, her lineage, and Eric is just I think that gives her probably in her blood and in her a little bit more I don't have to be this Norse pagan woman, like, she's probably
True.
interested in learning about other things and because she's
True.
and Eric is just, "I'm this, I'm pagan, I'm Norse, we were both born in Norway," and blah, 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 and I stick to my guns, and becomes I'm sure you're gonna go ahead, and she sticks to
No.
her guns, so
Do we have an example of that conversation? Or do we just hear it in several sagas
the
that
sagas
he became Christian
that she became Christian.
and wouldn't have
Yeah,
sex with him
yeah,
until
I
he
just
built
read
her a
it.
church?
Yeah, so I just saw it. Let me find it.
One source
Oh,
says
right
in
here.
okay, yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. So this is Eric the Red Saga in this translation.
Okay, thank you.
And so it's the Saga of the Icelanders with a preface Jane Smiley, but yeah. Who did it though? With a preface by Jane Smiley. I actually don't even know who the actual it's just a selection. Oh, it's a selection. So in this one, I guess I gotta give it to you. In this translation, it
So
says that
it's an edit, it has different versions in it.
yeah, and it's
Sagas of
Penguin
the
Classics, the sagas of the Icelanders, and had
oh,
that cool.
perfect.
So, it says that so we know Leif is the oldest son of Eric. He did go to Oslo, Norway, became hardcore Christian, with King Olaf there, and King Olaf said, "Now go convert Iceland and spread the gospel," or whatever. So Leif,
Mhm.
hardcore, came back, and it said Leif made land in Eriksfjord and went home to the farm at Brattahlid. There he was received warmly. He soon began to advocate Christianity and the true Catholic faith throughout the country, revealing the messages of King Olaf. How do you pronounce it? Tryggvason?
Try this same as you.
Tryggvason?
Mhm.
Okay. To the
Who
people.
is it who if we had time, we could get into what a weird dude he was,
Oh, we're
but
gonna have to because that's
oh,
the
okay.
other Gudrid who burned all her
Oh,
dudes
okay.
trying to propose to her because she was a
Okay.
pagan woman that wouldn't convert to Christianity, she didn't burn him, but he was one of her suitors. I think
Okay.
they actually probably did love each other. There actually is a love story there, I think,
Okay.
but
And
they just couldn't change their religions for each other kinda thing.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
anyway,
So
he
Leaf spent, which is interesting that Eric the Red let Leaf go to
Uh-huh.
Norway, but he's there with the king.
Mhm.
So here's Eric, who's this exiled, banished
Yeah.
bad guy in
From
Iceland
Norway,
from
yeah.
Norway,
His
banished
dad,
in
yeah.
Norway. So it's almost like he's giving Leaf's gonna take one for the team, for the family, and
Yeah.
redeem them kinda, right?
Yeah, and it was a smart idea because at that time, Norway had kinda turned its head to Iceland, like, "Well, what's going on? Where is all this walrus ivory?"
Mm,
And not necessarily that's Greenland, but Iceland, the head
mhm,
had turned to that direction, and so it
hmm,
was probably really smart to send some ambassador or your son to go be the king's man, and then you have to pick up Christianity, and then
yeah.
he's back here, and he's a good Christian boy, Leaf the Lucky,
And if you're
and
interested, try to find or find you could read Leaf's conversion, which wasn't so warm and fuzzy over there.
no, is that in the Hemmings that's in
I
the
think so, but we don't need to get
Hemingway.
into it. But yeah, it's an interesting story in itself.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
show it just in case. It's in this one.
oh,
Sorry,
okay.
but okay, so,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
so then on the next paragraph oh, my page turned. Hold on. Okay, so but Eric the Red, so Leaf comes back, he's this wonderful Christian guy, he's a king's man, everybody loves him. He may or may not have just saved a shipwrecked group of people, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
and he has had a love affair there. He had quite the time
He
there.
had a good time. Oh, yeah, he
Yeah,
had a love affair with a
yeah,
beautiful princess
yes,
and got her knocked up and
yeah.
then left, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna be sending him your way then," or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um, anyway, so Eric was reluctant to give up his faith, but Theodhild was quick to convert to Christianity and had a church built a fair distance from the house. It was called Theodhild's Church, and there she prayed along with those other people who converted to Christianity, of whom there were many.
Hmm,
And after her conversion, Theodhild refused to sleep with Eric, much to his displeasure. And then there is another thing I think we read that it was because he wouldn't convert to Christianity,
right.
so she refused
Until
to sleep with.
I've heard 2 things. One is she wouldn't sleep with him until he built her a church,
Oh, I like that
which the
better.
church is still standing. But
Yeah, it
another
is,
is she just
darling.
wouldn't sleep with him because he was pagan, and he was like, "I will never not be pagan."
Yes.
So it's kinda they're an interesting in-laws for Gudrid,
Yeah.
but they're also they say that, um, other lore this is from that video that talks about Gudrid, Echoes of History, said that the marriage connected her to royalty, to explorers, to men whose names would echo through history. Um, so, I mean, obviously her father thought it was a good marriage.
Mhm.
Um, this Thorstein and all the other sagas seems like a cool dude and that they were in love and isn't,
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, let's see. So we
And we could
do
get really romantic and say maybe they had been in love as like, childhood friends. I mean, they've known each other probably their whole life.
yes, we have talked about that. I remember that they
Mhm.
would have known each other. They lived right in the same vicinity. They're the same age,
Mhm.
essentially. So, I mean, it also speaks to me of the fact that she probably wasn't married to that other market guy that
Yeah.
some of the sagas say, because the seer would have said, "Oh, you're already a widow," you know? So
Right.
I feel like this was a happy event for Greenland, for the families, and how nice that here comes this Christian girl, for Eric the Red's wife Thorstein's
Yes.
mother. That would have been
Right.
cool for her.
Yeah, she was probably really it was probably a
And
really happy feast. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
things were good. Um, let's see. And so what did they say about Thorstein? There's a few things.
About what kind of a person he was.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, here's the Eric had a wife named Tjodhild and 2 sons, Thornstein and Leif, so he's not this one's not talking about Thorvald, 'cause it's possible. Well, I don't know, I'm not gonna go there,
Yeah,
but both of
I
it says
know.
both of them were promising young men.
Yes.
Thornstein lived at home with his father, and there was no man in Greenland who was considered as handsome as he.
Really?
Ooh, so he was
Okay.
handsome, so she probably was big time into him.
Well, and yeah, and think about how fun. So you've got a summer of this, and Eric's son, Thorstein, began wooing Gudrid. And then this is Eric the Red. To his proposal, a favorable answer was given, both by the maid herself and also by her father. The marriage was arranged so that Thorstein went to take possession of his bride, and the bridal feast was held at Bradahild in the autumn. So they had a summer romance,
Hmm,
and you can picture, I don't know,
yeah.
the banquet went off well and was numerously attended. Thorstein already owned a homestead in the Vestibigerd on the estate known as Lease of Jorder.
Yeah.
Um, so we get them married. So what do you know about what marriage looked like for her?
Whoa. Well, I
Um,
know they like to stay on the ship together when everybody else had to go camp somewhere. And
yes.
that's where we get the funny Christian translation of explaining, like, this is before Christianity, which it wasn't, by the way. We know now. They were both Christian. Well, we maybe Thornstein. We were assuming Thornstein was
Yeah,
Christian.
we don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we do think he is, right?
probably.
Yeah.
Leif was his brother and his mom. I don't know,
Well,
though. Who knows?
and yeah, I mean, we've
Oh, well,
talked.
yes, you're right, he is. I'm sorry.
He is? Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, anyway, sorry, I'll speed us up. Um, but as daughters okay, so social standing, once she gets married, a woman was given the keys to the household's chests and storehouses, a visible symbol of her legal authority over the estate's resources while the men were away. Unlike European girls, Icelandic girls grew up knowing they could own property, inherit wealth, and legally initiate a divorce. They also would have known the guy could marry somebody else if he
Yeah,
wanted to, but maybe with the Christian thing, that wasn't going to happen. Um,
that's true.
and by the age of 12 to 15, girls were considered adults ready to run a household. Um, so, anyway, let's see. So, she was ready to be married, apparently.
Yeah,
And he was a good guy. It's a happy thing. So there's different sagas, different ways to tell it, but they married and they went up to where his home, Thorstein's homestead, was getting ready for the winter. And at that homestead, there was he had a girlfriend probably. So this is where we move into the plague. So we could end this one here.
oh, let's do this. Let's get him killed off.
Okay.
Don't you wanna kill him?
Yeah, let's kill him.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, and then I'll just quickly say, if you've heard this saga before and you're like, "Wait a minute, wasn't it a shipwreck and they were at
Thank
some guy's
you.
farm?" That's the Vinland Saga, which has similar situation. They shipwreck for they're trying to do something we'll talk about later, trying to set off to Vinland
Yeah,
in
I mean,
that
they do
saga.
have wanted I mean, there is in another saga, they are already traveling, she and
Yeah.
Thorstein. Um,
But either way, they're on this land,
mhm.
and Thornstein the Black is the farmer. In one saga, his wife's name is Grimhild, And then
Mhm.
this one, Eric the Red Saga, her name is Sigrid, is that right?
Mhm. Yep.
Sigrid. So there's a farmer's wife involved in both the sagas, and then there's sickness involved. So in the one we're talking about, which speaks, I think, a little bit, is this one from Eric the Red Saga, right?
Yeah, I think maybe just because there's a little more detail. Yeah. So this is this one. Same, but again, essentially the important things that happen appear in both, are addressed in both in, all the sources.
Yeah,
So we know that.
his words to her are
Mm,
gonna be in the Vinland Saga, or the Saga of the
okay,
Greenlander. Sorry, they're both the Vinland Sagas.
that's
So I can just
important.
say that when we're ready.
Okay. So we have Gudrid, married, young newlywed, and now it's getting to be autumn, and of course that's time to get your household in order, and so she gets to come as a young bride, um, to set up a household. Now I don't know if Thorstein even had a house. It seemed like they were all staying together in the same longhouse.
Mhm. Which would be then maybe we're talking about the shipwreck kinda thing, or maybe the house wasn't ready yet, who knows? But
Mhm. Mhm.
they had to stay in this same long house with the farmer Thornstein the
Mhm.
Black and his wife, right?
Yeah, and what makes sense to me is probably Thorstein was traveling around. Like, he was a young man of that time, so maybe he had never lived on his homestead,
Yeah.
and so here they are in the autumn. Um, so Thorstein Thorstein in the autumn, he and Gudrid went to the other half of the homestead, and it looks like they were, because Thorstein and Sigrid, there's 2 Thorsteins, so let's
Yeah,
say
Thornstein the Black, we'll say Thornstein the Black is the farmer
Thorstein the
guy.
Black and his wife Sigrid welcomed this new, couple back. Their reception was a welcome one. They were there during the winter. When little of the winter was past, the event happened there that fever broke out on their estate.
Yeah.
In other sagas, this is the 1800 version. On other sagas, it says, let's see, there is one saga that says, it uses the Old Norse word sot, S-O-T-T, and that's just a general term for serious illness.
Okay.
So, what we know, kind of condensing all the different sagas, is that you've got this longhouse, it's winter, so everyone's in the longhouse, everyone's, you know, together. We do know that whatever it was, the illness spreads rapidly through the household.
Yeah.
Multiple people die in a short period. It has the character of an epidemic disease. Thorstein, Gudrid's husband, dies in this outbreak, and that there is unusual behavior, from the recently dead noted. Um,
Yeah.
so, so
Can
that's
I
what makes
just
this. Yeah, go ahead,
can I just say that,
please.
these people start dying before Thornstein Eriksson dies, and as they're dying, he, so this is why I think he's Christian. He has these bodies put in coffins with the
Okay,
intention to bring them back to bury them in sacred ground.
okay, and that's
So
perfect. That's
there's a question
exactly
about in both sagas, there's a question about what to do with the bodies,
right.
and they want to bring all these people, Thornstein and Gudrid's people, men or whatever, crew or whatever,
Mhm.
back to Torthild's chapel, right, to consecrated
Right.
ground and bury them in the summer or the spring or whatever.
I am
So
so
that's
glad you
interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring this up because this, just like the story we talked about last week, this moment in the Longhouse brings up again the pagan and the Christian
Yeah,
heat.
yeah. So they were
Yes.
having to make decisions for people based on what
Yes.
they thought their faith was and how to handle their bodies once they died. So, yeah, so everybody gets sick, and eventually then Thornstein, well, eventually the farmer's wife, Sigrid or Grimhild, whichever one, gets sick first. And, um,
Yeah.
in this one, the Eric the Red saga, she's dead, right? But then
Mhm.
she starts waking up, and Thornstein, Gudrid's husband, Thornstein Ericsson, um, dies too. And
Yes.
but they're both laying there, but their bodies are both in this farmhouse, this longhouse for a
Yes.
night, right? When there's and this is when the weird stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
They both
And
wake up from the dead.
again, they're both it's got Gutrid stuck. Well, this
Yeah,
is a quote on this. It's from, Neil Price. It says, Iceland converted to Christianity around 1000 AD, the same period as the story. Gudrid herself will go on to be a Christian pilgrim, but in this moment, in this plague-struck longhouse, the old beliefs are still alive. And the question of how to bury the dead is not just theological, it's political, it's personal, and it's urgent. And
it's
that's
very
sort of
urgent.
describing the same thing we were talking about a few minutes ago about when you are on these crossings of beliefs, when those intersect with a real life scary thing like your father dying or
Yeah,
it becomes pretty real.
the
So,
salvation of your spouse, yeah, right.
yes. And
And are you
so
gonna
this
do
is
everything correct in
yeah,
the living side of the planet? Because again, these are people that bend swords and break things to get prepared for them to go to this other side,
which
um,
is a living
which is a
they're
physical thing you do to prepare for this, easier time on the other side, and so to be left with the responsibility of what to do with these bodies, um,
yeah,
and the spirits rise, the weirdness of the wife waking up from death and saying weird things, and then Thornstein Ericsson wakes up when they thought he was dead, and do you want me to read this what he says to her?
well, let's see.
Or you're
I'm
not ready
wondering if
yet?
I should just read the saga, this section, and then we go into it. It might be
Okay.
easier because it describes, um, in basic terms, kind of the mayhem that was going on.
Oh, yeah, do that, yeah,
Should
before he
I?
gives his yeah, for sure, because
Okay.
it is mayhem.
It's like crazy. But this is Eric the Red, but the Vinland has some fun chaos too that
Yeah,
okay, so this is Eric the Red saga.
okay.
So they really had a happy situation for maybe 8 months. Gudrid is happy. Um, let's see. So then we get back to their homestead. Winter's coming on. When little of the winter was past, an illness broke out. The overseer of the farmstead was named Garth. He was an unpopular man. So there we go. We've got them making judgments on this poor Garth for out of nowhere. But
Yeah,
um,
because he's pagan.
okay. Oh yes, thank you. He took the fever first and died. Afterwards, and with but little intermission, one took the fever after another and died. And think of this longhouse, they're all there together. There's a couple central hearths just in the center of the room. There's no escaping what's happening. Um, then Thorstein, Eric's son and Gudrid's husband, fell ill, and also Sigrid, the wife of Thorstein the Black. And one evening, Sigrid left the house and rested a while opposite the outer door, and Gudrid accompanied her. And they looked back towards the outer door, and Sigrid screamed out aloud. Gudrid said, "We have come forth unwarily, and thou canst in no wise withstand the cold. Let us even go home as quickly as possible." Of course, she said it much plainer than that, but it's
Yeah,
cold
we have
outside.
acted carelessly. You shouldn't be exposed to the cold at all. She's trying to be nice to the sick woman. Like, went
Yeah,
outside, now you're gonna get cold. We need to go inside as quickly. So even in that moment, Sigurd's like, "Oh, you're screaming, you're seeing all these things. You're just really sick. Let's get you back inside."
yes,
She's
and
logical.
Gudrid's being very reasonable.
Uh-huh.
Um, And this is what seek and let's do both translations because 'cause
Yeah,
they're
do yours
interesting.
first.
Okay, so Sigurd says, "It is not safe as matters are. There is all that crowd of dead people before the door. Thorstein, thy husband also, and myself I recognize among them, and it is a grief thus to behold. And when this passed away, she said, okay, now Gudrid, I see the crowd no longer. So what does yours say about this? And it
Yeah, it's that
pops
same
up out
thing.
of the blue.
So Sigrid, the farmer's wife, so everybody's sick, including Thornstein, Gudrid's husband. And Sigrid says, I won't go out with things as they are. All of those who are dead are standing there before the door. Among them, I recognize your husband, Thornstein, and myself as well. So she's seeing the dead, the sick, feverish woman looks outside and she sees all the people that have already died, including herself, who's not dead yet, and Gudrid's husband. That would be so sad, who is laying in there sick. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a sad moment, but Gudrid is like, well, you're cold, let's go back inside. And as soon as they go back inside, then she's like, oh, I don't see them anymore. So,
And also there's that question of, like you've got Gudrid, the pagan would understand this, that the dead are happening.
yes, because
But
Thornstein the Black has a whip in his hand standing behind them when when Sigrid is saying there's dead
oh
people, he
yeah,
grabs
where
the
is
whip
he?
and
Is
he's ready
that
to whip
this
them.
happening yet or not?
Yeah, that's in the next sentence.
Okay, you read that.
So, so when she goes back inside, she said, I don't see them now. And Thornstein, and I'm assuming it's Thornstein the Black, whom she had seen with a whip in his hand, ready to strike the dead, had also disappeared. They then entered the house.
Mm.
So either that was a feverish vision that they saw Thornstein the Black with the whip in his hand, ready to fight off the dead. And he's Christian. He claims he's Christian too. So he's seeing all this too and ready to fight dead people, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
So,
this one says Thorstein Eriksson.
oh, really?
No, had disappeared.
Oh,
Oh, this one says Thorstein had disappeared from Sigrid's sight. Like you said, he's had a whip. He seemed to have a whip in his hand and a wish to smite the ghostly troop. Which, think about this. This is handed down generation to generation. So this was pretty important afterwards. And all the people handing it down were Christian probably and had to make a decision. Should we say that our mom saw the whip or the
right,
ghostly troop?
right.
Afterwards, they went in, and before morning, Sigrid was dead, and a coffin was prepared for the body, which is interesting, like you were saying, because that means we've got a Christian thing going on.
Yeah.
Maybe. Now, the same day, the men proposed to go out fishing, and Thorstein led them to landing places, and in the morning, he went to see what they had caught. So, anyway, they're trying to keep everyone alive. What does yours say?
Okay. Do you have this part with the
Uh-uh.
axe? Okay.
Oh, yes, go. Yeah, go do it. Oh, this is the funny part. Okay.
It's terrible. So
So it's
before morning
chaos.
came, she was dead and a coffin was made for her body. Okay, so Sigrid, the farmer's wife, dies and
Yeah,
they're gonna make a coffin for her body. Okay, that's different
okay.
than the other. That same day, men were going fishing, and Thornstein the Black accompanied them down to where the boats were beached. So you've left Gudrid, the dead wife in a coffin, and Thornstein Eriksson sick up in the longhouse. Thornstein the Black goes down to check on the fish and the boats and stuff. Then Thornstein Eriksson sent word for Thornstein the Black. So Eric Thornstein calls the farmer guy to come back up, saying there's no peace in the home because his wife was trying to rise up and get into bed with him. So you're
Poor
Thornstein
baby.
Eriksson laying there sick. There's this dead body in a coffin who's trying to wake up and crawl over to get in bed with you. And I guess she made it as far as, so whatever the sickness was, maybe they weren't really dead and they were going like coma, falling into unconsciousness or something and then
Yeah,
waking up
I
or
mean, we
whatever.
can yeah,
But she made it
yeah,
to the sideboards of Thornstein Eriksson's bed. So he called, like, go get her husband and bring him back up from the beach. His
yeah.
dead wife was crawling over to me. Or maybe it was a fever dream. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, he said, "Come get it," and
uh,
this translation says he was saying that matters at home were hardly quiet. This is our
Yeah.
1800s guy
And
that the
then
house
so then he took hold of her So the farmer comes back up, grabs a hold of his zombie wife, and puts an axe into her breast, so kills her with an axe.
Kills his own wife with an axe.
Yeah.
And then they move on. Okay, so that's crazy. Thorstein, Eric's son, died near nightfall.
Yeah.
Um, and then Thorstein the Black, who's just put a poleaxe on, killed his wife, um, begged Gudrid, whose son had died, so they say died, to lie down and sleep, saying he would watch over the body during the night. So he did. So she did. And when a little of the night was past, Thorstein, Eric's son, sat up and spake, saying he wished Gudrid to be called to him, and that he wished to speak to her. So we got to dig into all these things because it's all
Yeah, it's
pagan
weird.
stuff.
Yeah.
But in this one, it says Thorstein was dead
Yeah.
and he put her to bed. Does yours say that?
Yeah, Thornstein was dead, he put her to bed, and then they were talking, but then it was Thornstein the Black that kinda sees Thornstein Erikson kinda wake up again and want to
Yes.
talk and say something, and he wakes Gudrid up
So it
to say, "Your
says,
husband your dead husband needs to say something to you," right?
yeah, it says Eric's son in the night, his son sat up and spake, saying
Mhm.
he wanted Gudrid. And this is what he said. Um, God wills, he said, that this hour be given to me for my own and the further completion of my plan. What does yours say?
So it's, what Thornstein Erikson is saying.
Mhm,
So, um he ans so the far Gudrid so Gudrid and the farmer are sitting there looking at her dying husband or her dead husband waking up to
mhm.
tell her something, and the farmer says, "What is your namesake? What is it you want, namesake?" He said. So, like, "What are you doing? What do you want?" Okay,
Yeah.
not like, "Ah," or, just, "What do you want?"
Mm-mm.
And after a short pause, Thornstein Erikson said, "I want to tell Gudrid her fate." So he wants to tell her fate. Everybody wants to tell Gudrid her fate. So you have the sorceress that wanted to tell her fate, and now you have her dying husband wanting to tell her fate.
Mhm.
And he says, "I want to tell Gudrid her fate to make it easier for her to resign herself to my death." So which is sweet.
Aw.
So I do,
Yeah.
yeah. "For I have gone to a good resting place." Oh, it's nice. Okay. "I can tell you, Gudrid, that you will be married to an Icelander." Remember, they're in Greenland right now. Um, "And you will live a long life together." So this is her dying husband in their appearance waking up from the dead to tell her this, but waking up
Yeah.
from whatever he's about to die, telling her this, that he
Mhm,
loves, that he wants his be at peace, "I've gotten to a good place, you're gonna marry an Icelander. And
mhm.
you will live a long life together, and you will have many descendants, promising bright and fine, sweet and well scented." Which again, I just
Of
love that.
course. Of course they're gonna smell good
I
'cause
know, I
they're
love that that's important to them. I definitely related to these people. You will
Yeah.
li you will leave Greenland to go to Norway, and from there to Iceland and set up house in Iceland. There you will live a long time, outliving your husband. So again, he's telling her she's going to be a widow again. You will travel abroad. Now okay, but anyway. "You will
Yeah.
travel abroad, go south on a pilgrimage, and return to Iceland to your farm, where a church will be built. There you will remain and take holy orders, and there you will die." And at that, Thornstein Erikson fell back, and his corpse was made ready and taken to the ship. So it's a pretty
Hey.
thorough, like someone who already knows history, translating this and writing this, could have
Yeah.
gotten real specific with it. Hindsight.
Yes.
Um, but either
True.
way,
That's a good point.
it is lovely, and
Yes.
it is what happens, you know?
Yeah. And, it's like her second prophecy. Um,
Mhm.
But so you mentioned no one seems that surprised that they're sitting up and talking, the dead guy's talking, at least not in these. So, yeah. So, Gudrid, what's interesting in this, I'm going to read this translation just because it was written, it has this Christianity bent to it, which is
Okay.
kind of bizarre.
Okay.
So here we've already, it mentions the axe, it mentions Sigrid seeing the dead, it mentions all the same thing. And Thorstein said, your husband wants, he's dead, but he's there. He went to find Gudrid, waked her, begged her to cross herself and to ask God for
Oh,
help, and told her what Thorstein, Eric's son, had spoken with him. And he wishes to meet with thee. Thou art obliged to consider what plan thou will adopt, because I can in this issue advise thee in no wise. So again, she's being summoned for a prophecy, this time by her dead husband, who wakes to give her a message. And it's weird in this situation that Thorstein the Black, again, you can go talk to him. I can't tell you whether to go or not, but you better
right.
cross yourself and ask your God to help, because what she's doing, this is a concept, the Old Norse concept of a draugr, which is a revenant, a corpse that retains something of the living self and can return to communicate, warn, or threaten. And it's well documented across the sagas and supported by archaeological evidence of burial practices designed to prevent them from returning.
Yeah.
Um, Several articles, scholarly famous ones, 1943, Davidson, The Road to Hell, covers the mechanics of how the dead were understood to persist and communicate. There was the belief of the intersection of cedar magic, prophecy, and communication with the dead. And Neil Price again says in 2019 incorporates the recent archaeological finds, grave goods, and burial configurations at sites like Burka and Gamla Uppsala that provide physical evidence for ritual practices. So, in other words, you remarked this doesn't seem to phase them. These dead all wanting to climb in bed with or having a life, congregating outside the door, Sigrid getting up from her coffin and wanting to climb in bed with,
Right.
they're not, there's Gudrid, is probably very comfortable with this. That, yeah, if someone told me your husband who's dead over there and been dead all night wants to talk to you, um, I
Yeah.
wouldn't respond the way. So Gudrid in this translation says, after Thorstein said, you can decide what to do, she said, it may be that this wonderful thing has regard to certain matters which are afterwards to be had in memory, and I hope that God's keeping will test upon me, and I will, with God's grace, undertake the risk and go to him and know what he will say, for I shall not be able to escape if harm must happen to me. I am far from wishing that he should go elsewhere. I suspect, moreover, that the matter will be a pressing one. So we get a little bit of her, sort of what you were talking about, trying to work through these belief systems and then this moment, but she said she's going to, and it's funny how she says, God's grace, undertake the risk to go to him. And she's like, even if he says that something bad's going to happen to me, I can't escape that. So she's got the Christian God's grace belief going on with the Norse or the Celtic belief in not avoiding your fate
Yeah.
and not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then Thorstein says, kind of talks about the difficulties in bearing because they're having to deal with bodies. But he says, and I'll just finish this and then we can talk.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Then Gudrid went and saw Thorstein. He appeared to her as if shedding tears. So we don't know if she's seeing spiritual Thorstein or I guess it's the Draugr, the
That
revenant,
he's shedding tears or she's shedding
that
tears?
he's shedding
He's
tears.
shedding tears, yeah.
He spake in her ear in a low
Mhm.
voice certain words which she alone might know, but that this he said so that everyone heard, that those men would be blessed who held the true faith, and that all salvation and mercy accompanied it. Um,
And this
and
is coming
then
from Eric the Red saga, so this is what you're saying is actually it's in the Eric the Red
in
saga.
the Eric the Red saga,
Mhm.
the one that was translated in 1800s, which definitely has more of the Christian buzzwords in it.
Yeah,
Um, but then it says Thorstein the Dead says there's a no good custom which has prevailed here in Greenland since Christianity came to bury men in unconsecrated ground with few religious rites over them. I wish for myself and for those other men who have died to be taken to the church. But for Garth, I
right,
wish him to be burned on a funeral pile as soon as may be, for he is the cause of all those ghosts which have been among us this winter. Um, Thorstein spake to Gudrid also about her own state, saying that her destiny would be a great one, and begged her to beware of marrying Greenland men. He begged her also to pay over their property to the church, and then he sank down for a second time. It had been a custom in Greenland after Christianity was brought there to bury men in unconsecrated grounds on the farms where they died. An upright stake was placed over the body, and when the priest came afterwards to the place, then was the stake pulled out, consecrated water poured in. Funeral service was held, though it might be long after the burial. The bodies were taken to the church in Eriksfjord, which is Eric's mom's church. Funeral services held by the priests, which there weren't any, so that's the translation thing. After that died Thorborn, Gudrid's father. The
yeah,
whole property then went to Gudrid. Eric received her into his household and looked well after her stores.
yeah. So my translation's very similar, and, she lost her love of her life husband well, first love of her life husband,
Mhm,
then her dad,
mhm.
and, I guess I don't know if she got to inherit that farm, if it was Eric the Black's half of like, she just all that beautiful, bountiful, loving summer kinda ended again in death, you know,
Yeah, and it
and
makes me think of
sickness
that
and
card you held up in the beginning
mhm,
of this sunshine and this bountiful
mhm,
marriage, and, um, it's interesting how, yes, that does happen, and even her dead husband, Thorstein, said, "You'll get married again," and
yeah,
those moments are gonna come in your life, but you're also gonna have this other card, unfortunately,
right, there's a lot of cards in the deck.
that
Yeah.
speak to you, and you're gonna be a widow 2
Right,
times by the time you're 22.
right, it's
Um,
right.
so again, it's kinda cool how, um, we see this intersection of these beliefs that follow Gudrid she's gotta reckon with all the time, and this is
Yeah.
a quote from, um I don't know the book, but I'll find it. It says, "The Norse dead in their minds were not gone," which is different than Christianity in some respects, but
Yeah.
this is the fundamental thing modern readers miss when they encounter the saga accounts of the dead sitting up and speaking. This is from I mentioned her before, from Helga Kress. No, sorry, let me just make sure I have her. Oh, from, Davidson, The Road to Hell, 1943.
Okay.
Um, we read it as supernatural. They did not. The idea of the dead sitting up and speaking. The dead were still present, still obligated, still capable of unfinished business. To bury someone was not the end to a relationship, it was to renegotiate it.
Oh, interesting.
That's very
Renegotiate a relationship. Okay, yeah, because that's what I feel like they do.
It speaks sort of to their belief we talked about before of the shape-shifting abilities.
Yeah. And even in your folklore, your Norse folklore, you had, people down to the other going north, I guess they walked north to
Right.
the place of death and try to get into hell Heavenwall, where
Right.
Hale is, and they try to get one of the gods back out. I mean, it is a you can't like, the word negotiation is interesting because it is like they are always negotiating. This
Yeah.
Norse religion and their, relationships with each other and their gods and then their dead is a negotiating, transactional relationship where they do believe the dead can it's a constant renegotiation of a relationship where maybe it turns into something different, where it turns from a loved one to now someone you have to make sure they don't come back and haunt you, so you gotta do
That's
all the right
true.
things, you know? As much
That's
as you love them
true.
and you want to have it's a renegotiated relationship where maybe it's not going to be a positive you know, thing that you wanna
There
have.
Yeah, because there are stories of, in Iceland, someone taking over land that had unhappy dead in it, and he had to negotiate with those spirits to be able to stay in his house.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and so you have you have right there, they've got the dead bodies laid out, and they're so in the middle of a new belief systems, they don't know what to do with them. So one guy's gonna get the pagan burial, but Thorstein wants to be, the Christian burial. But
yeah,
either way, he's still a dead man sitting up finishing business with Gudrid,
right.
you know? So she gets, like you said, she gets a seer, she gets a seer in the first prophecy we talked about with the vulva lady. Now the second one is with a Christian man, her husband, and they're telling her essentially the same
It
fates,
is.
right?
A positive, uh, future, there's no warning of, "You're on the wrong path," or scary, looming doom, or it's all very positive, and as Christianized as some of them sound, it sounds like you will go on a journey, you'll have a church, and or, just whatever. They're both a sorceress woman and a Christian man going to the other side of whatever you wanna call it, right? Life,
Right.
death, the world, spirits, veils,
Traveling.
whatever,
Mhm.
you know, channeling or coming through from the other side to tell her, I think comfort her, give her comfort in both
Mhm.
these things. In one case, she just landed on this new land, and it was kinda scary, and her dad was off, not agreeing with it, and she told her, "You're gonna find love," and then in this case, the love of her life was dying, and she's just witnessed all these wild things, and he's telling her, "You're gonna find love," and Christianity is you're doing the right thing. I think
Yeah.
in every contact or I don't know what in every time I've sought any kind of comfort from the other side,
Mhm.
seems like the message I always would get is, um, "You're you're doing great," you know? You're
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
that's the thing that I think most people just wanna hear from somewhere, some source, somewhere. Is like, am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing? And to
Yeah.
hear that gives you power and motivation, propels you forward in your life, so
Yes.
in her
That
journey.
is that is perfect because she's gonna need that. Um, and
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
that rem the thing that hit me the most about what we were talking about before in this story with Gudrid is the fact that, like, here she is standing there with the dead, and her dad's gonna die, and she's in this crowded hellscape of the living and dead, and a poleaxe being shoved into a corpse
I
and
know.
all this stuff, but then she just has to she keeps moving through all these sagas, she just keeps traveling
Mhm,
no matter what is
mhm.
thrown at her.
Yeah, she does.
So, I mean, that's to me, she's kind of a hero in that sense. She's
And
got a
it's a reminder that in every life there is a a you are cared about, you are cared about by
Mhm,
bigger things and
mhm,
mystical things, and, like, it's you are an important person. She's just one little Viking woman in this
mhm.
big world, like we talked about last week. There's stuff going on in Russia and this big, huge, pivotal moment in history, and this little woman is has the universe and forces and everything still wanting to give her comfort and caring about her, and I think that's true. I think anybody can has the right to feel that and be
Yeah,
in tune with that, you know?
yeah.
So,
I agree, and then wherever she travels, and,
yeah.
I guess that this quote comes to mind real quick, but,
Mhm,
it was a scholar speaking on North Atlantic archaeology, so finding her spinning whirl,
mhm.
in North America and all these archaeological sites that prove Gudrid was there, this small, not even 20 years old, what you're saying, this what she thinks is insignificant is still affecting us, and he said, that conversion for these people, this scholar was talking about, it wasn't a switch being flipped, it was more like 2 languages being spoken in the same house, sometimes by the same person, sometimes in the same sentence, and I keep thinking about how that would have felt from the inside. You've grown up with one understanding of what death is, what the dead can do, what you owe them, and someone comes and says, "No, that's not what death is," and you have to decide in the middle of grief which world you're living in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, where do you
I
get your comfort and your mhm.
yeah, like what you said you have to decide in that moment.
Yeah, what are you gonna what propels you on your journey?
Mhm,
What propels you
mhm,
and keeps you going
mhm.
and, um, it's always easier to choose the loving path, or the
Well,
maybe not easier, but it's
and I love that Gudrid is not gonna throw away any of her tools. Like,
no.
again, she's finding value in all these cross things, you know? Anyway, blah, blah,
And
blah.
my favorite thing is coming because on the horizon, that Iceland guy is heading her way to change her world.
Woo! We've got and he
Going
is a
sailing.
rock star. Her new husband is if you look at all the TikTok shorts
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff up,
sure.
like, he's a hunk.
He's a
So,
stud, man, and he's got the lineage to back him up, so we'll start
yeah.
you wanna talk about ooh, sorry, a bird.
So we're gonna
Oh,
talk
no.
about her second husband coming over the horizon next week, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
I love
that
it.
yes, okay, we did it.
Okay, anything
Are you
last did you have a
okay?
quote you wanted to read?
No, I'm
To
done.
no? Thought you had a
Mm-mm.
quote.
I just said it in,
Oh, you
like,
did?
dumb
Okay.
words.
Okay.
Are you feeling good about I think that
Yeah,
was
I
good.
love her
I
journey.
can't believe we got all through that.
I know, it's pretty good. Okay, well,
Okay.
come to our oh, and we're getting some nice email from people that we know and love,
Oh,
so that's super fun, some
thank
nice
you.
comments. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
people come to distaffpodcast@gmail.com or the distaffpodcast.com. We have a website,
Mhm.
and just comments are good, even on YouTube. I think I've made it so you can comment on Spotify, YouTube, I'm supposed to tell people to like it or thumbs up, which I swore I would never ever
Oh,
say in
no, I
my
think yes, because
life.
then we know if you like what we're doing, and if not, we'll change it.
Well, and it helps us get in front of more people. I guess the
Oh,
more,
yeah.
interaction with people, the
Yeah.
more they put us in front of other people, so,
Okay, well, good. That's important.
yeah.
All
But
right.
do what you want, cause no yeah.
You have free will, but you might wanna hear our wisdom. It might be important to
It
you.
might someday you may be faced with a weird
Yes.
situation, who knows?
Yes. And we're
Alright,
here to
yay,
help.
okay, though.
Okay, thanks.
Good job, Kim, thank you.
Good job, Sarah. We
Okay.
did it
Nice
together. Okay.
talking.